All right, guys, so now's the time to start preparing. Of course, I'm not trying to fearmonger or scare anybody, but they're projecting that this port strike is going to happen and that it's at least going to last 5 to 10 days. The last time a port strike like this happened was in the 1970s, and it lasted for 130 days. I don't know much about the port strike in the 1970s, but what I do know is that today our inflation and our economic situation is much worse than it was in the 1970s, and a shortage of goods could make that worse. From my understanding, over 50% of all imported goods comes from one of these East Coast ports, and a lot of them are going on strike. Things that could be affected: fuel, food, clothing, especially winter clothing, parts for vehicles themselves, and medication. But that's not it. The list goes on. This also affects the trucking industry as well as the railway industry. If they have nothing to ship, they can't ship anything. Now, this affects you because that is how our groceries get delivered to our stores. It's also how your Amazon orders make it to your house. And at the present moment, the president has said he is not stepping in, and he's going to let this strike carry itself out. And from my understanding, they want a 77% increase in their pay. I think it was from $35 to what they get paid out in the West Coast, which is like $56 an hour. And in this economy, and the fact that the union is no longer on speaking terms with this company, I'm not sure they're going to get that. At least until this strike starts affecting everybody. Because once everyone's really mad, then the companies are going to say, okay, let's raise their wages. This also comes at a pretty bad time because Hurricane Elena just made landfall, and apparently a lot of people are without power, and there's a lot of flooding all over. And the port strike is due to happen October 1st, in just a few days, which means that the emergency relief services could suck up a lot of the resources in the area, resources that may not get replenished. So what should you do? First, you need to stock up on food and water. Next, if you have any medications that you take regularly that you depend on, see if you can get another prescription. Now, if you don't take regular medications, but you want to have medications like antibiotics and prednisone on hand, you can click the link in my bio for Jace Medical. They have real doctors that will prescribe you medication that will be shipped to your house. So definitely check them out if you're interested. They're a great company. The third thing I'd stock up on that's right in line with medication is over-the-counter medications like Advil, flu relief, cold, cough, and things for your children like children's Tylenol and other children's medication. Also, if you are a new mother, start stocking up on baby formula right now. I can see if this goes any longer, you will be affected. In 2021 and 2022, when they had the formula shortage, we had a hard time in my family personally finding formula. We had to drive miles away to find formula, and when we found it, there was a purchasing limit. So if we wanted to have a stockpile, we had to drive to multiple Walmarts and pick up multiple cans. So save yourself the heartache. My wife didn't believe me when I said that we need to stock up on formula, and there was a lot of tears because of that. But we made it through it, and after we got through it, we stockpiled. So do it now. Same goes with diapers and wipes. I just go ahead and get that stuff now because you don't know how affected those things are going to be. Back in 2020, people stockpiled toilet paper. Which brings me into point number 4. Have everything that you normally use on a daily basis because you have no idea what people are going to start stockpiling. Number 5, if you don't have a firearm or a means to defend yourself, you need to get one. Stock up on some ammunition, get some magazines, and get some training. If you live in a state with a waiting period, you have a few days before this starts. So go ahead and get one now. And of course, I'm always going to get somebody in my comment section who thinks I'm a racist because I'm going to bring up migrants now. But I have no problem with people immigrating to this country legally. I welcome them. However, a lot of these migrants that have come over illegally are committing crimes. A lot of them didn't come here with a lot of resources, so they're homeless. And they have now become a burden on our system. And they've resorted to the same tactics they used in their home country: robbing, stealing, breaking into cars and homes. So imagine, if you will, you live in a bigger city that has a larger migrant population, and they've already been wreaking havoc, Springfield, Ohio, on the population. Now throw in the fact that your Walmart is running out of food. Your pharmacy doesn't have the medications that you need, all because they're not coming in on ships. What do you think these people who were already committing crimes, breaking into houses, breaking into cars, are going to do? They're going to come after what you have. So you need a means to defend yourself. And at the end of the day, this could be absolutely nothing. It could last a couple days, maybe a week, and we could recover really easily. But what if we don't? I'm not going to watch my kid be hungry because there's no food on the shelf and I didn't do my due diligence and just stock back a couple cans of food. As parents, we're protectors of our children, and as men, we're protectors of our household. And part of being a man and part of being a parent is doing things that will set your family up for a successful future, even in hard times. So you can laugh, you can mock. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but I know that the last one lasted for 130 days. Back then, inflation wasn't nearly as bad as it is today. A lot more could be affected than it ever was back then. So get ready like this is the real thing. And as always, stay safe, stay prepared.